you?
How nice to be back.
It is
Nice
nice.
to be back. And I mean, I know our listeners have missed us in their
Yes,
droves.
or one of them.
In their droves, they have missed us. And no, I think we probably need to make a public apology for being a little bit quiet recent times, but we've had some things going on at work and things going on in our personal lives that have meant
Yeah.
that we haven't been able to come and say hello and have our normal chit chat about an absolute nonsense rubbish history and going down wormholes. But we're back and
Refreshed, so we're ready to
we
go
are.
back again that way. Yeah. Well, I was trying to be quiet for once.
What you were gonna say? Why we've
Yeah.
been quiet.
So we've been quiet because my wonderful granddad, who starred in one of our earlier little shorts on Instagram, the legendary Grandad Dan, he passed away. He was 95, so he had an amazing, amazing long life. And he was, obviously I was his favourite, but we had an amazing time with him. But yeah, he was poorly and he managed to be at home, and that's amazing. Becky's been lovely in doing lots of things to be helpful and cheer me up and thinking of me and stuff. But it's a painful time, but
Yeah.
but then there's also lots of little things that make me laugh when I think of Grandad Dan, including this, which I did just show Becky just earlier. So you know how we love to talk about leeches
We
online.
don't stop. And we do talk about it quite regularly, so it's like it's quite apt.
I don't know
Grandad
why.
Dan is being featured in this way. Yes.
But obviously because he lived with me, I have all his mail now, lucky me, including things for chums, which isn't dog food, it's to buy men's clothing of a certain age. I think
I
if you're
thought you
over
were gonna say
90.
I thought you were gonna say some dating thing or something, which actually wouldn't put past your granddad, to be
Oh
honest.
yeah. He was kissing all the nurses even at the end. But he got this from Positive Health. So it's
Mm.
leech saliva. And I was like, oh, that is disgusting. So what to put on your body? It's healing, helps circulation, anti-inflammatory. And then I thought, you know what? I've seen this bottle somewhere. And when I looked in my granddad's cupboard, yes,
There it is.
he has got it. So if any listeners out there would like some leech saliva, Becky's already bagsied one of the other bottles.
I mean, who wouldn't want that?
If anyone wants it, just DM me. It'll be yours. I'll even pay postage to get it out of my house. There we are.
I'm absolutely intrigued I mean, it's just nonsense. It's snake oil, isn't it? Isn't it?
I mean, what the fuck? It's proven efficiency. I don't know. I mean, what? I mean,
Just
it's
it's
like, it made me think of Peckham Springs, Only Fools and Horses when they
yes.
made the water.
Yes.
I mean, who's getting saliva out of a
No.
leech?
I think I need to
It says
investigate this more. What's it say?
natural.
Natural. Oh,
Natural.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
it says apply to desired area.
Oh, God.
Anyway, so if
Anyway,
anyone wants it, if not, I'll put it in our cricket team's raffle at the end of the year. They'll be delighted.
I mean,
But
that is a
yes.
delightful raffle prize. But yeah, so your granddad, but you've got a lovely picture. I want you to show everyone that picture. Actually, you've just shown me of
Yeah.
you and your granddad when you were little. A
So
little
this
Kelly with
is,
short
yeah,
blonde hair. All of this. I think it's
I
amazing.
know, isn't it? Look at him, legend.
Absolute
I like to
legend.
think we look a bit alike, but he was such a legend. It has made me. I mean, obviously, being a family historian, I've got like all his Navy papers and everything and
Mm.
stuff. I gave him a book on the Korean War for Christmas, and I am going to read it and because I know little bits and pieces, but not much. But it'd be nice for us to talk about that
Yeah, definitely.
as a little tribute to him one day. And shame on me for not knowing more because that was somewhere he'd been. But yeah, so good old Grandad Dan. So rest in peace
Yeah.
and love him loads and miss him loads, miss him making horrendously horrible noises whilst we're trying to do a podcast. Yeah, probably the leech saliva getting to him.
Yes, probably. It's probably, or maybe you needed more. I don't know which way it goes, but yeah. But yes. So, but now we're back. Now we're back, and I feel like from outer space. I don't know why I was going to start singing. Then there's no need for me to start singing at all
Of
for
course.
anyone. Um, but yes. So, and I understand you've been reading some interesting books, which I'm not sure I know much about.
Well, yes. Well, it's something that we've never really talked about before. So I know it's a whole big world, isn't it? King Arthur, Merlin, everything. But I've just been reading a book by Sophie Keach. My mum's read it, is obsessed with it. It's the start of a trilogy of books.
And fiction, well, yeah, of course it is.
Then
Can't believe it.
you can cut that out or
What I
not.
mean was, like, there are some people out there, and I'm going to be controversial now, but there are some people, I put King Arthur in the same book as Robin Hood,
Yeah.
completely, fictional. But there are people out there who can firmly believe, like, if you just pop down to
Yeah.
Glastonbury, oh my God, they're all over that shit, and
Depending. Yes, there's so many theories about him. Like,
mm,
actually, I was reading something quite recently about they think that Arthur was from a Scottish name, and actually his roots were in Scotland. And I was like, oh, because we've always thought of him as Glastonbury
yeah,
and the Welsh, like
Wall and wherever, yeah,
the Cornwall link and everything. But I wonder though. I mean, it's always the same, isn't it? There's always somebody that they're based on, or an
yeah,
amalgamation
yeah,
of.
yeah,
And also, there are so many legends and so many different versions. I mean, I've got the Morte d'Arthur. I've got a version of that somewhere.
yeah.
And I've read, did you ever read back at, like, I think it was written in the 70s or 80s, The Mists of Avalon by Marion Bradley. And I had it on audiobook, and I'd go and pick my kids up from school, and they'd open the car and it'd still be playing. And it was very 70s soft porn, like talking about his member and stuff. And I'd like press pause and be like, I had a good day. It was all very romantical. But that is told also from the view of Morgan Le Fay, who was apparently Arthur's, in most of the theories, she was Arthur's half sister,
Okay.
mother of Mordred, who ultimately killed Arthur. But there's a lot of different versions. The versions that they had an incestuous relationship, Arthur and Morgan, and lots of different theories. Some she's not in it at all. Others she's mixed up with her sister Morgause, who was a queen of Scotland somewhere. Or so there's just loads of different versions. So I do like a new version that came out, and Sophie Keach, who's written, I'm in this on the second book now, but the first one's called Morgan Is My Name. It's absolutely brilliant. Couldn't put it down. My mum read it in about 5 minutes. She loved it. Her book is brilliant.
But I see, because I am like, I like my history and I like things which are based on fact. Now people get it wrong, and we know that, and you and I bitch about it quite often when we're like, "That's not right. That didn't
Yeah,
happen. That's ludicrous. There's too much poetic license on that."
yeah,
But I'm not very good at kind of make believe
yeah,
fantasy, kind of fairy folklore type thing. Is there
yeah.
anything like that in there? Because I feel like I know nothing about, I don't know anything about, like, I've never read anything, never read, I've heard about the mystery, like,
Well, I remember The Sword in the Stone, the cartoon, when I was
never
a
even watched
kid.
that. Yeah, never even watched it.
And I think there's something quite magical. I mean, I'm from nearby Glastonbury. A lot of my
Yeah,
family live in Glastonbury. So I think it's always been something that's been quite cool to like, and with the history side of things. But I don't know. I think there was a person called Morgan who people said she was magical. And of course that it probably boils down to she's probably really good at having common sense and knowing how to make a
yes,
pole. I don't know. And I don't know, I like the idea of her, and I mean, when we went to that talk in Frome
yeah,
about
yes,
witches and witchcraft,
yeah,
and they were talking about how throughout the ages, how women had been vilified and being a witch was a bad thing and it
yeah,
was working with the devil, and how people would perceive, whereas and actually people use that and men use that as a way to discredit women.
yeah, yeah,
And so it's another woman who actually was actually okay,
yeah, yeah,
and the man made
yeah,
the Arthur and I mean, because it's again a bit like Robin Hood. I don't really understand the origin of where the
no,
legend has come from.
yeah.
people have been adding to it. So this book, though, it's a bit of a love story. The first one, there's Accolon, who is in a lot of versions is Morgan's lover, but she in this version of Sophie Keach's book, she is the third daughter of Igraine, and I can't pronounce her Cornish father. Who she was the Cornish king's daughter, so she was a princess at Tintagel. And then he dies when she's a young child. And then Merlin, who's a baddie in this book, he brings Uther Pendragon to get involved with Igraine, sort of against her will, and ends up being a stepdaughter. And then they have a baby, Arthur, but he gets spirited away. And it's sort of the story of her younger. She has a few powers and healing, and she goes to a nunnery to learn about her powers of healing. And of course, she's a woman who's interested in learning and
Yeah.
healing and things like that. So of course, that's prime for her to be a baddie.
Yeah.
But it's really lovely. It's quite, if you like a love story, there's quite a lot of passion there, which is good. I'd say my only thing about it is that sometimes it seems a little bit modern, as in, because you're talking the 6th or 7th century.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's that little bit of a feel, but otherwise it's really good. And this lady writes brilliant, imaginative scenarios, and talks about the landscape of Cornwall and then other places that they go to. I like her characters in it. And so it is really good. And it's just a bit unusual. I like the fact that they turn it on the head and she's looking at Morgan as a
Yeah.
main character
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
her. And King Arthur, he's an interesting character. And Guinevere, she's portrayed as a bit of a bitch. So quite interested in where that's going to go, because she's very pious and very like, oh, yes, I'm the queen and no sex
Bit
before
judgy.
marriage. No, very judgy. You shouldn't have lovers unless it's your husband. And you're like, hey, wait till Lancelot turns up. So I don't know how that's going to go, and if he's even in this version, this trilogy, I don't know. Wait and see. But it's really good.
I'm just looking at the front cover. It's actually the front cover's
Yeah.
lovely, isn't it?
Yeah, it's beautiful. I've got a signed copy because I'm nerdy like that, and it is a beautiful looking book as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't know if Sophie Keach has written anything else. I can't think of anything else she's written that I
No.
might have read, but I really liked it. Really, it's really good, and it's so if you like a bit of adventure, so there's a lot of jousting and talking about those sort of things. And Merlin is a bit of a dickhead. Yeah, so it's quite interesting. It's nice to see it going forward, because I don't quite understand. I don't, even though I know vaguely how the story sort of ends,
Yeah.
depending
Yeah.
on what version you read. I'm interested where she's going to go with this.
Do you think it would be a good film?
Yeah, of course. Or a TV series. Thing
TV?
you've got longer. Yeah, it would be, and it'd be brilliant landscapes, all of that. Yeah, I think it would be. And I love stuff like that. I I don't like it when authors make a novel out of history and then change things, like
Yeah.
as we've said.
Yeah.
But because there are so many interpretations and we don't know if anything is true
Yeah,
anyway,
exactly.
I like the stories that can come from this and
Yeah.
that sort of thing of
Yeah.
that time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And I think
yeah,
that's fair enough though, isn't it? Because it's not based on, it's based on
yeah.
folklore
I mean,
or whatever you just want to call it. Yeah.
I've got loads of books about people's ideas of Arthur, like factual ones about people who've done investigations and people who've like made their whole lives about
Yeah.
catered into finding out if he was real or not.
Yeah.
And the fact is that we never have the sources from that long ago.
Yeah.
That in the country we don't really have them,
No.
and that's really sad, isn't it? But
Well,
maybe one day someone will find a tomb somewhere, and then
maybe
can you
you
imagine?
will. Maybe it'll be you.
Yeah, maybe I should do some divining and try and find
Yes.
out
See?
where he is.
Should
Because
do.
yeah, I mean, I don't know why I did this, but when I was looking, because when I read anything, fact or fiction, I don't know if you're the same, if there's something that's possibly
Yeah.
about real, I go and have a look at it and
Yeah.
see, and then
Yeah.
go down the rabbit hole.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, who is the first sort of recorded person or
Mm.
historical person. So then I went off on some rabbit hole on that, and it led me, obviously it's usually Egyptians, isn't it, all the pharaohs and stuff, and that, and I think the first recorded person where they actually are definitive that it was a real person and they have names and all the rest of it and actual evidence was, I think it was like 3500 BC. And I
Amazing.
was like, I didn't think it would be
That
that long
old.
ago.
Yeah.
But obviously that person had parents. He didn't just magic up. And if
Yeah,
he was
yeah,
a
yeah.
king, he was a pharaoh or a high up person in Egypt. So he was like, because they have all the dynasties.
Yeah, yeah.
So he was in the -1 dynasty, I think, which I didn't know existed. I don't quite know how it's possible. They obviously thought they got to naught and then realized something else and was like, -1. But he obviously had, if he was a high up person, that means there was a community, meaning there was a lot of people to be in charge of. So yeah. So then I was down that rabbit hole. I'll send the link
And,
about.
and that's the problem. It's like when you do go down these rabbit holes, then you find out all these things, and it's just like I haven't got enough time in the day to read the actual book, let alone go down the rabbit holes of like trying to look at these other things. I'm not reading anything historical at the moment, or I am actually. I tell a lie. Okay, so I'm just lying to you. Basically.
You just
I'm
like
just lying to you. So I'm on. I've got 2 books on the go at the moment.
good.
One of them isn't. It is like nonsense fiction, kind of, but
Is
it
it?
is no, not quite. It is historical, as in like, but not very old. It's not historical at all. It's like, as in, it's like, is basically a woman who is doing a. She's written a novel, and it's about the day Live Aid happened. So when I say history, it's not really. It's like, but it's like through like done through like that. So I just thought that was right on my street because I just needed something. When you need something light to read when you just don't need anything. So anyway, so I'm reading that. But anyway, on my way into work, I'm now listening to. My God, I've forgotten his name.
Just a minute. I want to know what the Live Aid book is called.
Barbecue at Number 9. Random, actually. It's a random.
Barbecue at number 9.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a random. Yeah, it's basically this one. They all live in a close, and this woman is like this woman is having a barbecue at her house. She's at number 9. She's invited the whole of the neighbours round, and it's like basically like that. It kind of like goes through hour by hour, and then it says on the front of each chapter, it says what hour it is and who was performing a live aid
Yeah.
at that
I
time.
remember I remember Queen. I
Yeah.
remember Queen playing. Was it 84?
Yes.
Yeah, so I was about 5 and I was.
Or was it 85? 84. No, it wasn't.
I remember my mum dancing Live Aid, and I remember it being on the TV, and I remember Freddie
Yeah.
Mercury
Yeah.
being amazing.
Yeah.
And then didn't someone fly over? Was it Phil Collins?
Was
Didn't
Phil
he play
Collins, he
the
did both.
fly over?
Yes, he did. Yeah, good old Phil Collins. That's back in the days of Concord when you could do
Yes.
that, but you can't do that anymore. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
So tell me, what are you listening
so
to?
the other one is only because I had it, and when you're like you're in the car and you're like one book finishes, and then you're like, oh well, I need to start a new one.
Yeah, you're scrambling, but
So
you're at
yeah,
traffic
the
lights.
scrambling. So then I stumbled across the one that I had, which was the Charlie Hickson one, which is the one where he's like goes through all of the kings and monarchs.
Is it called Harry, Bill
Harry,
and
Ned,
Steve?
yeah, that one, yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, so it's that one. So yeah, so I'm going through that because it's really nice bite-sized things that I can just listen to it on the way to and from work.
Is he the author, the narrator?
He is the narrator. Yes, yes. So yeah. So it's very good. He's right, but it's very similar to David Mitchell did Unruly.
Yeah.
So it's a similar theme. Just running through, and I really like it, but I think I prefer David Mitchell's because he's a bit
Oh,
deadpan, a bit more. I
yeah,
think I think Charlie Hickson's playing for the wider audience because I think kids will listen to it.
yeah.
But he's not shying away from like one of the kings when he's like they were talking about bollocks and this that and the other. So he's not shying away from it, but he does. He's quite old school in some of his things that he says as well. And I just was like, oh, you're showing your age there, what you're saying. But it was like, it was fine. But it's good. Yeah. So I'm just like,
Because I've got that book and it's on my to be
yeah,
read part. It's
yeah,
just like than a mountain at the minute. And I do love him
yeah,
in
yeah.
because wrote a lot of kids' books, and he
Yeah.
wrote, didn't he write a book about King Charles when he came to the throne, which I've got. I got it as a I don't know why, as a not because I'm particularly royalist, but as like a I don't know, maybe it'd be worth loads of money one day.
Yes.
Anyway, Charlie Higson is going to be at Chalk Valley, isn't he?
He is indeed. Yeah, he is.
Talking about the book, so I want to read it before then, so that would be awesome. So, yeah, but I did love David Mitchell's Unruly because
Yeah, yeah,
I could imagine him reading it as well.
yeah,
I read it as opposed to listen to it.
yeah.
I could hear David Mitchell basically reading it.
Yes. Yeah, I'd listened to the audiobook on that because I knew he would be just so good, like,
Yeah,
just how he is. Very,
yeah.
you know.
I love those. And I like, bite-sized books about
Yeah.
I had a really good book a few months ago. I'll have to put it I think it's called Regina. I can't remember who wrote it. I'll try and look it up as we're talking. And that was all about if we didn't have I can never remember how it says, but, if we didn't have primogeniture,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, where
Yeah, yeah.
if it
But
didn't matter if royal
yeah, yeah.
whoever was old became
Oh,
king or
which way where we how would it have gone?
yeah, so the person who wrote it talks about who would have been the queen. So, like,
Oh.
Ethelfled obviously would have been queen because she was older than her brother when King Alfred died.
Yeah.
And queen they probably would have been, and some would have been
That's
brilliant, some
that. Oh,
would have
that's
been. That is an absolutely brilliant book. Again, it's sort of in bite-sized
yeah,
chunks. It's
yeah,
not,
yeah.
it was brilliant. I read that in like in a in a day because it was so good. Here we go. It's Regina, The Queens Who Could Have Been, and it is by Emily Murdoch Purkis, and I frigging loved this
Oh,
book.
I'm gonna get that. That sounds great.
Yeah. I'll just show you a picture of it. There we are.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Nice. Nice cover.
And a nice cover and stuff. And she went right back as well. So it was what queens would England have had if firstborn daughters are not
Yeah.
firstborn sons inherited. So I'm just trying to see, but there was some brilliant stories there. Oh, I thought it might say what sort of person was being it, but I'll yeah, definitely get that. Maybe
Oh,
we'll
I
talk
will
about
do.
that a little bit more if you get that book and
Yeah, and then we can talk about it. Yeah, definitely.
some really interesting things in there. Yeah, really, really good, and a nice way to flip history on its head,
Mm.
like a type thing. But I really enjoyed that book. Like to see,
Well, yeah.
yeah, getting there. It's like because did we talk about Ethelfled, who I love? I love her. I mean, I probably love her because of the Last
Kingdom.
Kingdom. And because of what a great heroine she is in
Yeah,
those books,
yeah,
the TV. But because I've read a few things about her now. I read a brilliant book about her a couple of weeks ago, and she's so fascinating. And she got to be Lady of the Mercians
yeah.
and do all of that.
I think
That
I
is
need to do I need to read all of those books? Because
yes,
I've only seen I'm actually gonna open myself up now, aren't I? Because how many books are in that series?
11 or 12, 12, I think. Yeah, they're really good on if you listen to
Okay.
them. So I think I've got most of them as in the book form,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
I ended up listening to them all again. I read quite a few of them in the book, and then I actually went through and listened to them. And I think on Audible there's at least 3 different people who read the books, so you have to
yeah,
get
that's good.
used to
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
obviously he's Uhtred is obviously talking back. But I love that because Bernard Cornwall was related to Uhtred of Bebbanburg, but I know it's not the same. He was actually he traced
Trace
his
himself
lineage
back. Right,
to the real Uhtred, yeah, and that's kind
really?
of why that talking about him
Did not
and
know
writing
that.
about him. But I think he places him a little bit earlier in history than the real one,
Yeah, yeah,
and Bebbanburg or Bamborough or however you refer to it. But I do love those books because
yeah,
again, I know Uhtred is a real person, but this is a fictional
yeah,
character.
yeah,
So obviously not everything is happening, but and of course he gets to be involved with everything.
yeah.
But I really love
But
those
also the
books.
good thing about that is like back then, I mean, things were only properly starting to be recorded, like
Mm,
then, or actually a bit after. So You kind of like there's artistic license and that's kind of allowed.
But I like the way that Bernard Cornwell talks about makes Alfred like the character he has him as in, like, yes, he was brilliant, but he has him as not conniving, but he makes him very pious
Yeah,
and
yeah.
very judgmental and
Yeah,
righteous. And
yeah,
obviously he's
righteous. That's exactly
saying that
the word.
he did play away quite a bit,
Yeah.
like before he settled down and married and stuff. And I quite like the fact that that's how he married him up. Yes, he was an amazing leader. He knew how to draw the kingdoms together. All of those sort of things are really interesting. But I like the fact that he painted him not as a perfect man. And
Yeah, yeah.
it, throughout the books, you don't know if he's going to help Uhtred or not because he kept loving him and hating him and stuff. But I do love Ethelfled and I know we don't know loads about her, and we in obviously they portray her marriage as not very happy and that her husband was not very nice.
No.
In real life, he was a lot older than her, but I love the imagining of that.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and I just think she was bloody cool.
She was.
I mean, if literally her husband died and instead of going to a nunnery, all the lords were like, "No, actually you can stay on because we quite
Yeah,
like what you
yeah,
do and how you do it."
yeah. But
Big up
maybe I need to add all those to my to be listened to list then. And then because I've seen Last Kingdom all the way through, and actually I wouldn't mind seeing it again because, you know.
Did I Have I imagined it, or were they gonna make another sequel? Because they rushed through when they did the film ending
That's awful.
and made, Athelstan, they made him into a gay character, and I can understand why, because he never married and had children, and he had plenty of time to do that. I can understand that that could have been a possibility, but I just think, did we need to go there? I don't know. I mean, it was that for woke's sake, which we do have a lot of, because a lot of historical dramas now seem to have to put that in.
Yeah.
Then he could have been, and that's why he never married.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's interesting.
I didn't like that film. Well, not I didn't like it, but
It
like
was rushed.
it
It
was
was,
rushed and it wasn't a good ending for me on the whole thing.
yeah. Well, the books are completely different because I mean, he gets another wife again in the books.
Oh.
Yeah. Is she Italian? I think she's I think he rescues an Italian lady at some point and she becomes his last wife, which I love. And I love the fact that like he's such a bastard to his kids and stuff, isn't he? He's not a great dad, although he's beautiful, isn't he?
I
And
mean,
he's great, not just in the TV version, but there is something about him because
yeah.
he is himself and unapologetically so.
I am because I haven't read them and all I've done is seen the series. I am going to love it, so I'm going to listen to it, and because I'm just going to have in my mind, and I can't remember his name. What's the actor's name?
Alexander
Yeah.
Alexander Uhtred. I mean, he is. I don't know if I've seen him in anything else. To me, he is
No, I
Uhtred.
don't
And
think
then
I have.
even in the film, when he's got grey dreadlocks,
Yeah.
he's very gorgeous still. And he clearly looks like he's 30 odd, and he's supposedly
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah. And because I think they have it in the film, don't they? Have Athelstan killing Finan's wife, or being responsible for Finan's wife dying, and that doesn't happen in the books. So I don't like that either. Not that
Well,
Finan was a real person. Yeah,
mm, come on.
books are always better. The
Books
books are always better.
always better. But
Yeah,
brings us on to another book from our Queen Borman, History Magnet's favourite, and that is now out. And both of us have got it, but both of us haven't started it because I'm pissing around reading something about a barbecue at number 9. But it's almost like I want to savour it. And what I'm going to do is, although we haven't got much time left, is I want to read it just before we go to Chalk, just before we
exactly the
see
same.
her, because she will
Yeah.
be there and she will be thrilled to see us. I know she will.
Well, it's our anniversary.
Well, it is our anniversary.
Our anniversary when we see her, and I've purposely made sure that I'm not volunteering when I know that she's speaking, so that I can
And when is that?
actually
Is that on the Monday? The Monday
Monday early evening.
evening, yeah. So I'm going to.
Maybe is she talking about the House of Boleyn, or is she talking
She is.
about,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she is. Yeah.
which is her new book, which is a fiction about the Boleyns?
Yes. So it's,
What
what's not to love? I mean, we already know. I mean, and she doesn't. She is Mrs. Accurate. She doesn't flavor it up for selling books like other
Yeah,
history fiction writers do. But she is. What was I going to say?
I
But
can't
she.
wait.
This is the book. This is the book that she stopped writing whilst she then found out about the stolen crown when she wrote Stolen Crown. This is the one that she stopped writing. She asked her publishers, "Can I stop writing this so that I can concentrate on that?" When she was like looking at the succession of Elizabeth and her last book.
Amazing.
Yeah. So yes, it'll be interesting to read. I can't wait. I can't wait. I love it.
Well, she's going on tour as well, and we've got front row tickets for that, haven't we? In October, November? That's the
Something like that.
Tudors.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
can't wait.
Yes.
She's gonna
It's gonna be like, oh,
she
it's you again. Yeah.
no, no, because she loves us. I know, Tracy, I know that you love us, and I know you want to come on this podcast as soon as time permits and your schedule allows.
Yes. We would
Yeah,
love to
and
have her on
we
here.
we've got everything to
Yeah.
have her on because
She
we love
is.
her.
I mean, she really is awesome. So much so I watched last night. I'd recorded. You don't record anymore. I don't know where I'm still saying that. The It was the Anne Boleyn. It was a thing that she does with Jason. Jason Watkins and her at the Tower of London. It starts there, and then they go off and investigate whatever they're investigating. So the one that's literally just been on was the one about Anne Boleyn, and who basically was played their parts in her downfall, sort of thing. So it looked across the usual characters, and basically came to the conclusion it was Cromwell, and he wasn't a very nice man. But I mean, piffle. I mean, yeah, he wasn't very nice, and he did actually lend itself to her downfall. I mean, we know that factually, but we still like Cromwell. That's just how it is.
Yeah, I mean, was he just in a rock and a hard place? Like, he was told, "Sort this situation out."
Interestingly, was it on this program? I think it was on this program, or am I mixing my programs up? But anyway, so you need to watch it because it was the
Okay.
smorgasbord of our favourite historians. So first up is Jason Goes to Hever, and our good friend Dr. Owen Emerson was there, walking around the grounds and like,
So,
yes,
smelling lovely and being
always,
amazing.
always. So he was there. Then Kate McCaffrey was chatting to him as well. Then Tracy spoke to Russell
Did you
Hart.
faint at the TV?
And then there was Elizabeth Norton on there.
Oh,
Nicola Tallis was on there. Like literally, what all our favourites. Like literally,
yeah.
you need to watch it just for that. But yeah, on there they were talking about Cromwell, and then they were saying, I'm sure it was Elizabeth Norton who was saying that actually one of them saying that Cromwell hedged his bets because obviously he was setting it all up. And getting Smeaton involved, getting him to do a confession, and then it all being nonsense. And then everyone who'd been accused of having an affair with Anne Boleyn, where they were supposed to be at a certain time, that was proven that they weren't there, and it
Yeah.
was kind of like, well, that's incorrect. You're basically falsifying your evidence because you want her to go down. And then, so someone was like saying that actually maybe it was a clever move on Cromwell because it hedged his bets. If Henry wanted to go down that route, that's what he was doing, and that's what he was making. He was making the evidence fit the situation so that actually she would go down. But as we all know, Henry, big man baby, liked to change his mind every now and then. And so it was like it allowed him to therefore get people or things off the hook because they could prove that actually weren't where they were supposed to be. So I just thought that was,
Isn't it's like, do you remember when you were little, you used to have those books, Choose Your Own Adventure?
yes.
Yeah. So you go, right, so if I choose this, I go to this page, and if I choose this, I go that maybe Cromwell was
Yeah.
the archetype of all of that. And yeah, he must have been an amazing chess player to have
Yeah.
all his moves all already
Yeah.
fully thought out.
Yeah.
Crazy. Oh, I will go and watch that.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
5, you say?
On 5, and you can speed through the adverts, obviously, because it's just
Yes. Well, that's a good idea. But I know we have to keep this short today, but I've been listening to the National Archives. They are doing collection of brilliant online talks, and they are amazing because they do pay what you can, really. So if you have a bit short of money, or a student absolutely scrambling at the moment, then you can pay nothing, or you can contribute whatever you feel like you need to the ticket. And they're doing 15th century houses at war series at the moment.
Okay.
There was a talk a couple of weeks ago about Henry VI,
Yeah.
and about his sort of iconery, is that a word? Like the myth of him as a
Yes.
person,
Yeah,
not
yeah.
just as a king and stuff, but also. And then last week's one was on Margaret Beaufort with friend of the show, Lauren
Oh,
Johnson, I adore, and her talk was brilliant. And I think they said afterwards there was like 720 people online live for the talk. I was there live, um, watching it, and it was brilliant because she really puts her humour across. She's a very funny lady,
yes,
anyway,
she
Lauren.
is.
But obviously talking about our favourite Maggie B.
Yeah.
And it was, even though I've read the book and we've spoken and stuff, I love hearing it all because there's so many questions that come up about her. She had such an intricate life and why she did things. And I think the thing that stuck with me when we spoke to her on our podcast was the fact that she wasn't very involved with Henry VII
No.
when he was a child. Like the first 10 years of her life, there's not much evidence about them being in communication, really, even at all. She was sort of off being Harry Stafford's wife and enjoying that life. And just she touched upon that again, and I find that really interesting because of how close they did end up becoming,
Yeah.
and because she literally put everything into fighting for him to be king when once they decided that was a real
Gosh, yeah.
possibility later on. And so, yeah, it was just another fantastic discussion. So she sort of led a talk, and then there were question and answers at the end that you could put a
Mm.
question in. Um, and I think there's just been one on Cecily Neville. So
Oh,
I've
okay.
got that recorded to watch.
Yeah.
Check out the National Archives and sign up for their newsletter because they're doing loads of talks
Oh,
all the
will
time
do.
on loads of interesting things.
Is it
Even
on
if,
demand, or is it actually they do it on a specific day and you've only got a certain amount of time to watch it?
yeah, I think they do a combination. I think they do things that you can, I mean, they do in, you can go to Kew Gardens and do actual in live talks, but they have stuff online. They have stuff that's recorded that you can access.
Right.
I mean, they've got a variety of things. Obviously, they're keen to get people involved, but obviously not just on the 15th century, on absolutely anything.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I mean, they did one on Henry VIII's will, didn't they?
Yes.
Which I've got to watch because I think it's when my granddad was poorly, so I never got to see it. But they've just got loads of things. And of course, they've got at their disposal so many
Yeah.
documents that can
Yeah.
be looked at. And
We
just think
need
of all
to
the documents that are not yet looked at.
but we need to do this. We said, didn't we? We need to go up there and book ourselves in and then ask to look at a certain whatever we want to do. We
We
need to
would like
come
to
forward
look
to
at, well,
anything.
it's almost like, Amazon, they sell um, packages that don't get picked up.
I mean, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
It would be
Bring
like,
us just bring us.
bring a book that no one's ever looked at, and it would be like, those weird videos that kids do where they unwrap
Yeah.
an egg or whatever it is to see what they've got, and people tune in to watch that. People might tune in to watch what we uncover. I think I've just hit on a really good idea there. But you've been listening to more podcasts, haven't you?
Oh, well, let's hark back to favorite Gareth Russell because now my new winning combination, because actually I've spoken about it before, how actually how I said he had a voice of an angel when talked about it before. We've talked about his book on here before because I like to listen to it
You told
on
him in person that as well.
yeah, and I think that's, and he said he will never only ever be referred to as voices of an angel now because that's what he will say when he describes himself. I think that's fair play, to be honest. And sorry, obviously he's got a fabulous voice. So the After Dark podcast, which is normally Maddie Pelling and Anthony Delaney. Maddie is obviously on maternity leave, although I did see she's just released a new book. So I'm just like, she's hardly on maternity leave because she's busy off launching her new book, which is quite fabulous woman that she is. But so he has been stepping in and has been sitting there talking with Anthony, and Oh, do you know what? The two of them together, like, and they feed off each other so well. They're both cheeky and both Irish and cheeky and just wonderful. Two leprechauns, if you will. No, don't say that because like that's a terrible thing to say. But I love this, and I just think, oh, it's just joyful. You have to watch it. You know, I think he's done 4 episodes. He's been a guest on the show before, but because Maddie's on maternity leave, he's like done like 4 ones. So, yeah, but it's great. And just have a chin wag. And they were so the last one I listened to was about how was there anything in specific, or was there specifically something that turned Henry VIII? What was the turning point of Henry VIII turning bad and nasty and whatever? Was it when he
Well,
fell off the horse and like, and it was just like, you know,
yeah, because we've talked about that before, haven't we? And didn't someone else talk about? Well, actually, there's a lot of evidence say he was a bit of a twat from early
yeah,
on.
yeah. But it was quite funny because it's not funny at all. There were a lot of people in the comments because they discounted that like because of that very reason. He was a bit of a knob anyway. People with brain injuries can
Mm,
actually their personalities can be affected
yeah,
if you are, if you, and your personality can change. It's proven, there is evidence that that can happen. So we probably shouldn't discount it because I think I think they were saying at the time that actually the reason why there's a potential that the reason why Anne Boleyn miscarried was because of that. No, have I got my who am I
yeah,
thinking
that's right.
miscarried? Or
He
maybe
had
Captain
miscarriage
Morgan.
the following day after
Oh,
because he
yeah,
was when he fell. Wasn't he out cold for like a couple of
yeah,
hours?
yeah. Talk about that because some of them say, "Oh, it's like it was a lot longer than it actually
Yeah,
was." Yeah, but it was. Yeah, yeah,
yeah. But then, yeah, because you think also, I wonder how much emphasis was put on because when he had that open leg, which he had every day for years, and he was from what I understand, he must have been in pain or at least bouts of pain, and you wonder how much with pain management, what it was in those days,
yeah.
much did that impact on his
God, yeah.
patience
Personality.
and yeah, personality and willingness to do things. He was obviously at one point really fit and seen as the most handsome man in the world. That you can't discount that level of pain and discomfort that he must have been
No.
in at the time. Like I always think of that with Catherine Parr, because from what I understand, he was like 1 minute he was like, she's the
Yes.
best. The
Yeah.
next minute gonna get her arrested, and then the
Yeah,
next
yeah,
minute.
yeah, yeah. Yeah.
So I know we weren't there and stuff, and it's always things that you think about. But I wonder about, yeah, how much of an impact that had on him, if not necessarily a brain injury, but the injuries he sustained afterwards and how that
Yeah.
went. Because I always get the feeling that the court would have been like, "What's it going to be like today? Which Henry are we going to
Yeah.
get?"
Yeah.
I also get the feeling that there were days like that when he was younger as well.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd give anything to just go back and not be seen. I'd be a fly on the wall. I wouldn't want to get entangled in
Yeah.
any of that shit. But I'd love to just see what it was like and just have a conversation with him. And I imagine, like most, he was different with men than he was with women. And
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
interesting. Mm.
Yeah. There we
Anyway,
go. Anyway,
we've nattered on long enough. We've talked about lots of great things, but I need to go and finish my tea.
uni
You,
out. But I think next episode, shall we have a run through of our chalk history favourites coming up on the lineup?
yeah,
Because, dear listeners, it's not very long now to go, and we are very excited, and we know what we're doing and where we're going. And in terms of us being there,
6 days, I think. Not that I'm
is
counting.
that yeah? So
But we're
yeah,
obviously going a day early to go and have the tour of the grounds, see how it's all set up as volunteers.
yeah,
Exciting.
exactly, yeah. Well, very exciting. So yeah, so I think we should do that next time, and then we can bore everyone senseless about our
Intrigue everyone. Sense. Honestly, got to tell yourself, love. Right.
cool.
Now we will see everyone later. Thank you for listening. If you got to this bit, you've obviously listened to the whole thing. So thank you.
Yeah, and we will see you next time.
Thank you. Thanks, Beg.
Bye.